The IU's evidence reviews or evidence maps show where evidence is available on climate-related initiatives across the world. And one of the things that we do through our evidence reviews or our evidence maps is really identify what we know and what we don't know about climate action. And they're quite cool. Very pithy maps that can, in one sheet of paper, essentially show you what interventions and what outcomes have high-quality evidence already available, so the GCF doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. In this way, GCF can leapfrog. It can leapfrog by learning from the mistakes of other agencies, other groups, as well as from high-quality evidence that may be emerging in other parts of the world. And it can leapfrog into a completely new paradigm and therefore show leadership itself.
The ultimate purpose of evidence reviews is to understand what works and for whom in a particular thematic area, and to help bridge the gap between science and policy. Within the IEU, evidence reviews support the IEU's core objectives. Evidence reviews also help support the IEU's learning and advisory functions. So within the context of our evaluations, evidence reviews outline the state of the field, and you can almost think of this like getting the directions before you go on a road trip. So you can still get to your ultimate destination without knowing where you're going or what's around you, but the process is likely to be less efficient. So within the scope of our evaluations, we conduct evidence reviews prior to the evaluation to help inform their scope and provide insight.
So the adaptation evidence review screened over 10,000 studies and included over 1,000 pieces of evidence. The evidence review found a substantial amount of evidence on agriculture, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. For example, on irrigation systems or on extension systems. But the evidence review also found a real dearth of evidence on Latin America, on institutional systems, and on the broader water sector. Now this is important because within the GCF's adaptation portfolio, a key area of focus is the water sector. The review highlighted the importance of evaluating GCF investments in the water sector. The evidence review fed into the adaptation evaluation that was presented to the GCF board in March 2021. So we've also recently completed an evidence review on private sector investments in mitigation. So this evidence review is feeding into the private sector evaluation, and this screened over 5,000 studies and only included 32 papers in the intervention outcome framework. It did this because the review focused solely on experimental or quasi-experimental designs. So these are causal designs that allow you to attribute change solely to the project in question. Overall, the evidence review highlights a real lack of causal evidence on successful private sector investments in mitigation. And this reaffirms the need for causal studies of GCF investments in mitigation projects, which are supported by different private actors, whether that's at the household level, whether that's at the farm level, the firm level, or up to the corporate level.